Now, anti-Russian protesters in Georgia have held a third day of demonstrations. Thousands of people gathered in front of the parliament building in the centre of the capital Tbilisi, calling Russia an occupier state and mocking President Vladimir Putin. The protests were sparked by a Russian MP addressing the parliament earlier in the week. In response to the protests, Russia has announced a ban on flights to and from Georgia, citing security concerns. The Kremlin decree attracted criticism from Russian tour operators.
Protests erupted overnight in the Georgian capital Tbilisi after the anchor of an opposition TV channel there voiced a stream of insults against the Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's caused real stir in our studio now, Ilya Petrenko, across this one today. Well, obviously, Russia was high there. Russia quick to react, obviously, but this spat has been going on for a bit, and it's in light of some plane suspensions coming today. Tell us all.
For the past several years, there's been no trouble in relations between Georgia and Russia. Everything's been relatively calm. The tourists were pouring into Georgia, and now all of this has been put on hold, and it's really under threat. We know that in response to this anti-Russian hysteria, that's how the Russian government puts it, Moscow suspended flights, direct flights between Georgia and Russia, and it's definitely not as bad as what this anchor did, but definitely some aggressive statements from politicians on both sides. So let's hope that this doesn't deteriorate and spiral out.
Я хочу передать огромный привет нашему большому другу, президенту России Владимиру Владимировичу Путину. Ты вонючий оккупант.
There was so offensive that people started looking at me, asking me, what are you watching? So it was a Georgian TV anchor. It was a primetime show, a weekly TV show, where he used some of the most offensive words that there are in the Russian language against Vladimir Putin, specifically against his parents as well. And this is what he pointed out, even though they're no longer alive. So definitely it was an anti-Russian, anti-Putin rant that was bound to get some aggressive reaction both in Georgia and in Russia, because people don't really want this to escalate, and this is perhaps what angered the protesters. Also got reaction from the Russian diplomats to it.
We strongly condemn the unprecedented nefarious behavior involving an unacceptable attack in obscene language against the Russian leadership, hosted by the Georgian TV channel Rustavi 2. We see this as another clear provocation by radical forces in Georgia aimed at undermining Russia-Georgia relations. The current blatant incident is a vivid example of where frantic Russophobia can lead.
We had we heard condemnation from the Georgian president, who called it hate speech, saying that these kind of insults have nothing to do with patriotism. The Prime Minister of Georgia called these insults a provocation, and we also heard condemnation from the Georgian Foreign Ministry. So it seems that, at least on this particular matter, they are on the same page.
Watching this.
You know what? Two cameramen, they resigned right after it happened because they said they don't want to be a part of this. Again, this channel is very popular in Georgia. It went off air for a few hours. Now it's back on air. Right. There's a deep political crisis between Russia and Georgia. Just to remind you, it's Russia's neighbor to the south. It's a post-Soviet republic. And about 3 weeks ago, there was an incident that sparked massive protests in Georgia. That was a Russian MP who was taking part in an event. He was officially invited for that event. It was happening in the Georgian parliament, but he took the speaker's seat. Right. And that's what sparked the outrage. So have a look at what these protests looked like a few weeks ago.
I am on Rustaveli Avenue. It's quiet at the moment because the protest is somewhere over there, which I'm going over there. Yeah, I'm going towards the protest now. Let me just show you about there. I came from over there. There are no buses on this street, police everywhere, and I'm just taking it easy. Oh, too many police cars. Just look at all that. It's too many. Rustaveli Avenue is not as busy. The first day was pretty bad, but my God. Speaker of the House has resigned so far. I'm in front of Parliament now, and there's a lot of activities here. In front of Georgian Parliament, the center of the protest. So many people. I don't want to lie to you, being over there, it did not feel safe. You have that feeling of unbelonging, like you really don't belong. Because everybody over there is Georgian, everybody's speaking Georgian. And loads of police, but for me, it's okay, because people didn't even pay attention to me, which is brilliant. But it's not somewhere where you want to be. Even though you look different, even though you sound different, you don't want to stay there for too long, because when shit hits the fan, you could be in trouble. You could be singled out. So I just thought, let me leave Georgian people alone. They're all wearing Georgian flags. It's a serious thing. So I'm going to leave this place as it is, walk through the park and get out of here. And this is what's happening now. And where are the news reporters to show the world that the place is peaceful? The place has been peaceful the day after the protest. A lot of my Russian friends have been asking whether it's safe to visit Georgia after the protest. Yes, it is safe. Come to Georgia. It's very safe. Georgia's parliament right there. That's where the protest is still happening. But it's very safe. As you can see, there's nothing to worry about. So do come to Georgia, my friends. Don't worry about a thing. It's just scaremongering from the news reporters. I understand that when you travel, you always have to know if the country that you're going to be visiting is safe or not. Well, I can tell you Georgia is safe. The protest is almost done. So just come to Georgia and don't worry about anything, because I'm here, ain't I? And I'm smiling with all Georgian people. I'm just coming off the subway here. And that's all Rustaveli. I am going that way to show you guys what it's like to be in front of Georgia's parliament. But then the protest will be here this evening. I might come and take a video, but it's more like a sit down and a few speeches, and nothing more serious. Because protesters want the interior minister to resign after he made a blunder, which I'm not going to get into because I'm not into politics. So that's our Georgian parliament there. If you keep going straight down, there you get to Liberty Square. Some protesters still have their tents here. Some are just camping here, and Interior Minister's name, Gakaria, that says he must go home, so they don't want him, and those are the tents. You guys can see the protest. These guys, they've been camping out here because to them this is their country, and they take pride in their country. If you are camping in front of Parliament, which I understand, I feel their pain. In case you're wondering what really happened, many politicians from many different types, from many countries came here, and one Russian politician was sitting, apparently, because I wasn't there, was sitting on a Georgian speaker's chair. It's very interesting. I don't know who gave him the chair, I wasn't there. But if you go to somebody's house, somebody has to give you a chair. So somebody gave him that chair. Once he finished giving a speech, he went back to sit. The opposition blocked him and stopped him. He said, no, you can't sit over there. That's our speaker's chair. The news got to the masses of Georgia. So they took to the streets and protested because they wanted the Russian parliamentarian gone. They wanted the Speaker of the House to resign. So Speaker of the House did a noble thing and resigned. He fell on his own sword. And the Minister of Interior, he hasn't resigned, so they want him to resign, so that's why the protest is still continuing. So this has got nothing to do with violence. There's no violence. The first day there was mild violence, not as the news have reported, fake news that it's so bad, people are being killed. There were protesters, some people got injured during that protest because the police were trying to break the protest, and a lot of people got injured. A lot of protesters were arrested, and the continuation of protesting is that those who were arrested for this, they should be freed, they should be released. All I say to all you guys is just don't be scared, just come to Georgia. There's no problem here. Georgian people are still laughing, they're still smiling, and then you're sitting here at home and thinking, oh, where's my next holiday gonna be? The next holiday should be here in Georgia. Come here, go to the mountains and hike. Protests only happen on this main street of Georgia, Rustaveli Avenue. Apart from Rustaveli Avenue, there is no problem. Trust me. And that's about it. Nothing to worry about. So come to Georgia. And if you wanna hike or you want more information about Georgia, just hit me up, send me an email, link me up. I thought it would be best to come to Liberty Square and just show everyone how safe Georgia is. That's Liberty Square statue, and that's Pushkin Square over there, and that's the busy Rustaveli Avenue. And if you go straight ahead like a 4 or 5 minutes walk, then is the Parliament. There you have it, from the horse's mouth. Politicians and news medias can say whatever they want, but this is the truth. Georgia is safe, there is nothing to worry about. So come to Georgia. If you cannot fly to Georgia, use the bus, use the train, cross the border on land. That's it. And just come to Georgia because it's peaceful here. There's nothing wrong, and Georgian people still give you smiles and laugh and laughter. And that is Tsminda, Georgia, or Tsminda, Georgia monument of Georgia. And further away, that's the statue of Georgia, which is called Mother of Georgia, and that's in Old Tbilisi. There you have it. Chicken shashlik, king kali.